Touchdown!
A chance for the Chargers, and they score!
All right, Dan, man, that was quite the introduction, huh?
Oh, as always.
As always, buddy. So how you been?
I'm good. How are you guys been?
I'm doing good. I got a great bunch of guys over here. I'm going to introduce them right away because we're itching to get them on the video. They're all great guys that these five guys here. They're great. They're great movie stars. Yeah. So to my left, Mike Crowley, Jim Higginbottom, George Rathman to my right, former Chief Dave Erskine, police chief, and to his left, my immediate right is George the Moose Krause.
Yeah. Thanks.
And to my Mike, you were the captain of the 1960 team, because this show is to honor the 1960 state champion Class M baseball team, and you don't get many of those, believe me, and especially in Connecticut. In Connecticut, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different than in Rhode Island. So in order to do that Class M thing, you got to be a pretty good team. And the funny thing is, I know most of these. I know them all. So it's like, and there's only 5 left. Am I right, Mike? 5? How many? 5?
No, there's a few more.
I think there's more now.
Well, that.
Otto seniors left.
That's George Krause talking now. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andy Farragut's still alive.
Yes, I got Andy.
So that's 7. Ryan McKenna.
Ryan McKenna.
Is he still
He's
around?
out in Seattle area.
Okay, so it is 5,
Getting
7.
near the end.
Getting near the end still.
The
Yeah.
ones that have passed away, or you say a starting lineup, the starting. Dickie Williams, the catcher, Dick passed away. Bob Thibodeau passed away. Frank Prakiak passed away.
Those are the 2 pitchers.
Right.
You know, those guys are gone.
Uh,
Dave Birchall has passed away.
Isaac.
Joe Isaac passed away.
Yeah, those are the starters. Yeah.
Well, on a happier note,
Yeah.
We're here. So
Mike Crowley said that's all that counts. I played baseball with Mike Crowley for about let's see, 8 to 2, 7, about 7 or 8 years. Playing for the Wesley Hilltops, but this isn't about the Hilltops, but we're going to talk about this baseball team and how you guys got together and how that year went and who your coach was. And let's go right around the circle here. So who go? You guys, Mike, you want to go first? Seeing you were the captain.
okay, so that year was an unusual year. And I'm going to throw this out, and Sam, you probably will remember more than anybody.
Yeah, you guys can jump in at any time. So,
But yeah, it's an open conversation. So, but I think that team there, a lot of those kids, a lot of us played for Pocket Little League. Because Pocket Little League started in 1950, 51. I think a lot of us came from Pocket Little League. I know Jimmy and I did.
I was from Mystic.
Yeah, well, that's what
George
happened.
and I. We'll talk about Mystic in a minute.
Yeah, no, well, you're going to have your turn. But that's the point.
In Stonington, at that time, anybody in Stonington played in Mystic.
Right.
We played in the Mystic Little League.
So that was the feeder system in those days.
Yeah, so that was my point. So the first Little League in Stonington, we were lucky because when we started, or I started, and my age group started, it was up at Stonington High School. So that, that was the first Little League field. Nothing fancy, but some good ball players came out of there. I know Jimmy did, Otto did. Who else played for that team? I think they came from Pocket.
Dickie Williams?
No,
Dickie could have been. Thibodeau played in Wesley Little League.
Right.
yeah.
Thibodeau played
Yeah,
in
right,
Wesley
yeah.
Little League.
Yeah, he was a beast.
People Trail.
Well, eventually that's where it went.
No, one of the guys that played. Hello, home run hitter. Back then he was put out of the Little League. Yeah. Can't remember what his name was.
Don't have it.
Was it Gibson?
Not Chipperfield. He was before.
Nah,
He was
he's
before you guys.
Yeah.
He was before us.
First name was Don.
All right.
Don was his first name.
You played in Mystic?
I played Mystic.
Yeah, he played in Mystic.
Yeah, well, you guys.
Believe it or not, that Mr. Rathman was the home run king. I think he had 3 with a wooden bat or more.
7, I think.
7, yeah. That
Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah, well, that was with a wooden bat.
His brother broke that by about 10 home runs.
Yeah,
David. Oh, he talk about beasts. Woo.
yeah, well, I batted 509 in the Little League, and that's the last time I got over 300 or 200.
We were pitching underhand by then.
Yeah. Donnie Sheldon. What was his name?
Who?
Donnie Sheldon.
Oh, yeah, Sheldon. He
Yeah.
lived in Wiggity Clock.
Yeah,
He lived down across from the arena.
family.
Yeah, that guy could
Big
hit.
Trail, yeah.
Yeah, that guy could hit.
That was one of those by Rossellini's.
As for folks out there, we're broadcast on 321 Media. So go to Facebook or YouTube. Anything, I think you can get on just about in any way, Dan, by just going on the internet. That's really just, and type in 321 Media, and then you'll see these faces. All of a sudden they'll pop up, and they'll be talking. So the one to my left is one of a good friend of mine, Mike Crowley, and that was Jim Higginbotham, and George Rathman to my right, Dave Erskine to my right, and George Cross to my right. Now just take it away, guys. Just go. We won't interrupt you anymore.
You will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Michael played third base. That third. Okay, Jim got hurt when you were in there. He was the shortstop.
Who played short after that?
Rathman.
You went in that.
Yeah, he went.
Yeah.
And Otto was on second. Sam, you were.
Mike was a left-hand batter. I was a left-hand batter. George was a power right-hand batter. I batted second only because I was a contact guy and I knew how to bunt. Sam, take it away.
He's got.
He was first base.
He's first baseman. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a mixture though. When you think Tiptoe threw left, but he batted right. Brackniak threw left, but he batted right. You threw right, you batted left, and Mike same way. You know, and it was a mixture. So it was maybe 5-4, half were left-handed, half were right-handed, and it was balanced. I don't know, maybe that helped. Maybe the pitcher didn't get used to it. Next thing you know, the left-handed coming up, and then a right-handed coming up.
Didn't Dick Williams throw right and bat left? Seemed like
Yes,
Yes,
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're low to lefties.
So it was a mixture.
He was about a 6'6" catcher.
Yeah.
He's a big man.
He's big for a catcher, but he was good.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
6'6".
He was
6'9".
6'6" in
No,
Little
no,
League.
6'9".
Oh, in high school.
No, 6'5"
Oh,
high
or
school.
6'6".
Yeah,
High
yeah.
school.
He's a big guy.
Yeah.
But he.
On that team, I wasn't good at any position, so they put me in all of them. No, I had to fill in for Jimmy because he got hurt. I wasn't a shortstop. I played the outfield.
You were playing center field, weren't
Yeah,
you?
I played center field. I played first base. I pitched when they needed somebody pretty desperate. But we had 2 real good pitchers in there, Thibodeau and Brackniak.
Brackniak,
They were
yeah.
both good left-handed pitchers, and
Well,
that made a big difference.
Yeah, but George, I always remember we beat Waterford at home, and we lost to Waterford during the regular season away. And at that time, we used to play down there behind the school, Waterford. We lost 1-0.
Yeah.
And you pitched that game. We lost 1-0.
That's my fault.
No, it wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault, but you
1-0.
couldn't throw the ball.
That's a pretty good
You
game.
could throw. You know?
That's a pretty good game, man.
I hit a ball down the first base line, and Bugby somehow laid out like this.
No. What happened was the Bugby lined it out to left field to you.
No, this is the game at Waterford when
okay.
we lost.
Oh, okay.
He made a fantastic play. I thought I had to double down the line, and the kid's on his back.
He was a good
Is
ball
that-
player.
Yeah,
He's
he was.
about the best player in the whole league.
He pitched for that. I think that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he pitched.
Good hit.
And
Wasn't he a catcher?
I thought he was a
pitched
shortstop.
some.
Yeah,
he
he
pitched
was
some.
first base that day.
First
He
base.
was the
though.
catcher, I thought.
That was a bandbox field. Remember it slanted.
Yeah, right field was a big hill.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you go back for a fly ball, you had to run up the hill.
Yeah, it's the line right when you got there.
And the following year, they finally moved over to the school, the high school.
Yeah.
They were behind the grammar school there, the town hall.
Yeah, that was a lousy field.
Yeah, it wasn't much of a field.
You're talking about Waterford now, right?
Yeah, Waterford.
Yeah,
I mean,
When was the first year Waterford got you know?
they knew 58.
First graduating class in Waterford was 1960.
Yeah.
St. Bernard's was 62. At that time, there was no East Lyme High School, Mountville, Legend, none of them were in the.
Oh man.
So a lot of times we had to go into Rhode Island and play. And, Coach Fabricant liked that because if you went into Rhode Island, he knew a lot of the people because he came from Pawtucket and he went to URI. He knew a lot of the coaches. So we played, we played North Kingston, South
And
Kingston.
we played Major League Picture.
Well, in basketball, we used to go over to Rogers High School, Newport, took the ferry over there.
I remember that as well.
I remember we played URI freshmen.
Yep.
Every year.
Played URI freshman.
I got a swinging bunt hit. That was the only one.
No, honest to God.
Yeah,
It
well,
was against
high school against college.
we played the freshmen that year, and Stenhouse pitched for the
Nicky
URI freshmen.
had to be Nicky.
No,
No, Nick was a year behind him.
Yeah, he was younger.
No.
Because
You're talking about
Dave was in the
Yeah,
early
wow.
it
50s.
wasn't the major leaguer. It was one of the others.
Oh, Ronnie.
Stenhouse.
Yes, Ronnie.
Ronnie graduated in 58, I think.
Yeah,
That'd be-
that it was Ronnie. Nicky was a little bit later.
He was crazy.
The most brilliant thing Mr. Fabricant did, and I've been calling him Moose, I'll call him Mr. Fabricant, coach, was he took us over to the baseball machine and turned them up to 100 before we played. Was it Housatonic? Is that where Vargas played for?
No, we played.
Who did we
Southington.
play?
We played
Southington, okay. And
Oh.
Housatonic, I guess, was the year before.
Well, I think we should. How much time we got?
You got plenty of time.
Oh.
You
One
got
thing we should-
half an hour, 45
Well, I want to
minutes.
go into what that's
No, what I'm saying, we should talk about that game a little bit when we got into the finals. Because there's a lot of.
You got plenty of time, guys. You got about
Well, the game before
45
was the
minutes.
key one,
Yeah.
right? That team was awesome. We played against the semifinals.
No, the first game we beat Sutton. We played East Haven at Waterford at the New London, and we beat East Haven.
Yeah.
Second game during the tournament, we went up to Middletown. We played Southington, and on the other end of the field, this was at Woodrow Wilson High School in Middletown, was Housatonic Regional playing Waterford.
Right.
Southington was ranked number 1 in the state. They were undefeated. And Gil Vargas was pitching for, the guy that coached it in London was pitching for Southington. We won. We beat them. We went down, and the game wasn't over. Remember going down the other end of the field and watching.
Yep.
And Steve Blass, who pitched for the Pittsburgh Pirates, was pitching against Waterford. And
Oh,
Waterford
wow.
beat them.
Wow.
So now we're supposed to all go. The final game is supposed to be up in Waterbury. Both principals got together. Ed Coogan's brother was a principal at Waterford High School.
Said,
at the
let's
time.
play. Yeah, let's do it right
And
here.
they came to an agreement. Let's play right in New London.
Yeah.
Never mind both teams going off the way to Waterford. We played in Waterford. I played in New London, right off. It was off Coleman Street.
Yep.
Down
In
there,
the back.
down there in the back,
Yeah.
right there. And
I think it's called Oregon Park.
and all the games for Waterford was a guy named Ronnie Holm that pitched for Waterford. He later got killed in Vietnam, and there's a park in Waterford named after him.
Yeah. Wow.
And
Yeah.
he was a sophomore when we were a sophomore. Bugby was too.
Yeah,
Those guys were
Bugby,
sophomores. We played against them in basketball too, and football. Ronnie didn't play football.
Did he play football?
Bugby played at UConn, played with George Greer at UConn.
Right, George.
And he was, and he was
George
also
played
the
with him, yeah.
MVP of the Cape Cod League.
Right.
Rugby. He
Hey.
could hit.
He could have.
Oh, he could rip it.
He's a good ball.
He could
Yeah,
hit.
he
He
was-
was a heck of a ball player.
Yeah,
Was talking to George the other day. Remembers him well because he played in the same team with him. So
Yeah.
yeah, he was a good
Well, the
hitter.
guy that was coaching UConn at the time was a guy from Westlake, Pansera.
yeah,
He was coaching.
not Don. I know you.
Which one it
It's
was.
one of yeah.
One is Pansera.
But he got a lot of guys to go up there. Tommy Capalbo, who got signed by. Can't remember who he got signed by, but he
But that time at the tournaments, it wasn't like today where they got 25 or 30 teams. It was only the top 8 had top rate records, class A, B, and C.
yeah.
Waterford was ranked 6th. We were ranked 4th. And we were 10-2, I think, or 12-2, something like that. 2 games we got beat, one against Waterford during the regular season and one against South Kingston. And that was during, I think, when the seniors went on vacation to Washington, didn't they?
you guys all remember that?
Oh, I don't.
Yeah,
Slightly.
I was on the Moose's hit list after that.
And Thibodeau went too. Bob went.
He wasn't on the hit list. He was going to pitch.
Yeah. Well, he was, but he wasn't able to pitch during that week.
Well,
He was in Waterford.
Williams, myself, senior, all the seniors had been saving for 4 years to go to Washington with Mr. Foley.
So that didn't go over too good, I guess, huh?
No, as a coach,
Oh, you wouldn't want
you
to.
don't want your starters to go. I've been
That happened in Westlake, I think, too. So don't feel like you guys were the only ones. I think I remember something like that happening with a basketball or baseball team. But can't say who it was, but
There were quite a few underclassmen on that team. We were juniors, you and I. He was a sophomore. He was a sophomore.
Billy
So-
Crawley, your brother.
Yeah,
Billy
Billy
Crawley
Crawley.
was a
There was,
sophomore
there was
with us,
quite a
right?
few underclassmen on that team. Yeah, we weren't all seniors.
Next year probably had more stars than we did on the championship team.
But we had good. That infield was tough. That was a good infield.
Yeah.
you're in field,
Yeah, and
1960.
the pitching. And let me say a little story about my buddy Frank.
Prakniak.
Yeah, we were buddies forever. He moved to Wiggity Quack when he was 5 or 6 years old. But he pitched every big game.
Almost every game.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And he hit the big ones and he never got flustered. But when he was a kid, he used to come up to the house all the time. And I would catch him. I wasn't a catcher. But almost every night we would throw. And I'd move the glove here, down, out, give him signals. I didn't know what I was doing. But he always had good control. And very seldom do you see him get flustered. But he
Wow.
pitched all the big
When you
games.
think about Mike, that in the state tournament we played on a Saturday against East Haven, Frank pitched the whole game. Then Southington, like in the middle of the week, he pitched the whole game.
Yep.
And then come Saturday again, he pitched that whole game, those 3 games he
Yeah.
pitched.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, Thibodeau was playing right field with a broken wrist.
Wow.
And he also and Thibodeau got a couple of base hits. But I was playing first, and I was told, hey, the ball's hit out there, you better start running out there because Thibodeau could only throw it maybe 50, 60
Didn't he
feet.
still pitch though, with even with the broken
No, he
wrist?
didn't. Not with a broken wrist.
He didn't?
No, but he batted.
Yeah.
He did
He
hit.
hit. He hit.
He still hit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But that Pratniak carried us, that Frank.
Yeah.
God rest his soul.
Well, Thibodeau in batting practice, we could hit. I could hit. I couldn't touch Prakniak. He'd throw his curve at me, and I couldn't push right over.
And he hit spots.
Couldn't hit him. Couldn't hit Frank in batting practice.
I was telling a lot of the kids that play ball now. Thibodeau used to almost hit the school with a wooden bat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he was a big guy.
Well, the year
Yeah.
before,
I remember.
we lost, but we're only down a couple runs, and there's a couple people on, and Bob comes up, and there was that I mean, you remember the field we played on, wherever we were,
Where are you now?
had no fence, and they're back about 390 feet, and I'm saying, Bob, just beat the ball. In my mind, get it over, and boom, I mean, there's another almost 400-foot blast, and they're out there in between trees, and the kid catches it. That was the ball game. That's how powerful he was.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a big guy. Think of that.
Yeah.
First time up, he hit a home run over their heads, and every other time they're back in. There were trees back there in between the trees, about 400 feet out.
There was a lot of talent back then. But and it's like cycles. That was a good group of baseball players. Now, I don't remember the other sports. When we were in high school, basketball, we weren't that good. Football was good. I don't remember. But that baseball team was good.
Football was the right
George's senior year, would you lose one game football?
Yeah, we were 7-1 in one. Yeah.
So you were.
We tied Wesley on Thanksgiving. They celebrated. They were like a win for them. We had just beaten them 32-6 or something like that.
Right.
We played 2 games.
I remember that.
And then on Thanksgiving they tied us, and to them that was a win.
I remember that very well. You know, I was the water boy for Wesley, and I heard Woody Duville he had his coaches over for a couple of drinks after the Thanksgiving Day games. And this particular one, he had a table like this, and the guys were all sitting around, and he decided that he didn't want the table around anymore, so he just smashed it with his fist. If you get the drift of what I'm saying, he was a little ticked off because he tied. But you got Denny Dwyer, and that was a great
He was
team.
a good running back.
Yeah,
Tough.
Yeah,
It was tough.
Brevity.
big guy.
Everybody was a halfback. And what was good was Inglesby. He was a little wild.
Oh, yeah.
Fred.
But he was tough.
It was tough.
He used to run a 100-yard dash and win. He wasn't built like a runner. He was built more like a center. He played center on the football team, I believe.
He's a tough
Yeah.
guy.
Quick though.
Yeah, he could run.
Well, I want to get back to my pitching machines with the Moose.
Yeah,
Well, he took it. Remember, he took us over there.
you
So
took
Turn
we
them up.
went down to Charleston.
Charleston.
Down there with a batting cage, and then it turned into a golfing range. Remember after
Yeah, I know where the
But
golfing range was.
the guy from
Somehow he knew we were going to face Vargas and the 100-mile-an-hour, 90-mile-an-hour throwers. And Bob Senior Otto, that was his nickname. First guy up, hits a home run. I'm next. I hit the hardest ball ever hit. Guy caught it. After that, we were tagging that guy. I think we only won 4-2 or 4-1. I can't remember. You can, but
He's got his notes.
we went to Southington. We beat them 5-3.
I was
East
close.
Haven 8-7. Waterford 4-3.
Won some close games.
Yeah, right.
Wow,
Tough
that's-
guy.
All your research before you got it.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, he's got the memory.
Oh, you know he does.
he's got a great.
It's crazy.
This-
You can't think of it.
When I call him on the telephone just to chat, I got to reserve about an hour.
Don't listen to who's talking. The last I knew, you could talk to a telephone pole for 8 hours.
That's a good. That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that. No, Dave and I get along well. He's like my.
Oh, I had a lot of good memories. A lot
Yeah.
of, when we were reminiscing the other day, there were a lot of good memories.
Yes.
Well,
We grew up at the right time.
Right.
Like Mike was saying, we had Little League, we got to remember, we had the world's greatest generation take care of us.
Yeah.
They came
Yeah.
back from World War II and they
Oh,
took
yeah.
care of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were very fortunate.
Right.
And the Little League got started in the 50s. Mystic got started in Parker. Later on, Stonington had a Little League for a little while.
Mystic was 52.
And we were very fortunate.
Yeah, we were.
And everybody played in it. And we had Babe Ruth League too. And Babe Ruth over here, Junior Mystic Junior
Yeah.
League. And everybody, the fields were all donated. They were all donated. They didn't have to buy them.
All right.
The Mystic Rossi Field was donated. Williams Beach Park was donated.
The Wesley that
Community Center had the field there.
Angelo
Over here
Marone.
was donated.
Keith Mays.
You know,
All right.
Yeah.
They paid umpires. Yeah. They didn't have to pay the
no, they
umpires.
didn't pay
He's still
umpires or anything else. Everybody
He's
did
still
for
going.
nothing.
Keith.
You know,
I'm getting back to those pitching machines. Who was the guy that had the ones over in down the beach? Tom, what's his name?
Sainsbury.
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 That's not the guy.
Sainsbury
That's not
had
you.
it down there.
That's not who you're talking about.
No,
No, Sainsbury.
Tommy didn't
down
have
in Charles.
those.
Sainsbury
Your
ran
brother,
it
your
down
brother
there.
Billy kept them in business. He spent more money down there,
He had
and
one
me
down
too.
there.
Yeah, I know.
Down to Charleston, and then he moved it up.
It was along the road to you see the
Right,
beach.
just along there,
Right.
along the road just after Shady Harbor
Yeah.
and Shelter Harbor.
Yeah, that's where they had the.
Right.
But
And
to
he
me,
went down there,
To me, as a coach, David, that was brilliant.
and he also had one on Route 1 in Stonington.
He rented
And
that
you
from
people,
us.
it was your land, right?
Yeah.
That he had it
Where was
on.
that, Mike? I don't remember.
Right there,
Where Agway is now.
almost
Oh,
Where
across,
Stonington feeds is.
Yeah.
Right there.
right,
Yeah,
right
Oxaco-
in there. He had one in there.
Yeah.
And they had one for softball too.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember throwing a
Yeah, I might have been
softball.
in the
They do all that now.
Maybe.
And
So he was a
so
good guy.
Yeah.
they do all that now inside. Girls, boys, they all got the machines. They're doing a day and night. They, whenever there's a real tough game coming up, the girls on the softball, boys, whether it's Wesley, Stonington, they all got the equipment now. Nothing like when we were in school. But when I remember Ray Wright was my coach, and I used to beg for him to come up there and just throw me a few fat ones. In my head, I was all ready, but not really. That was an ingenious move, ahead of his time. Moose Fabricant, ahead of his time to do that right.
I'm going to talk about bats. I see every young person, softball or baseball players, they've got these gigantic bags on their back with bats sticking
Doing
out.
that, yeah.
Mr. Fabricant had one old Army canvas.
Bat ball.
Yeah. And in there were about 8 bats.
Sure.
If somebody broke a bat you were using, guess what?
You're out of luck.
You're out of luck.
You gotta
You're
pick
gonna
one of
choke
those.
Choke up on another bat.
Yeah, but I thought we used to go once a year. He'd bring in people and we'd go pick out bats. I remember doing that.
Well, you've got to pick out bats.
I remember Carl Summers one time got mad because Moose, he didn't start. So if you were a starter, you could pick out a bat.
Yeah.
And then you
Yeah,
hope
on our
that
team,
2
too.
or 3 guys liked it.
Yeah, but
Well, Carl Summers got mad because they wouldn't let him pick out a bat and he quit.
there's one. There was one canvas bag. None of us. I don't know. I had some little league bats, but I didn't own a bat.
You keep telling that story, but it's not true.
It is true.
Nah,
What do these kids pay for a bat nowadays? They pay over $100 for a baseball.
Well,
There you go.
well,
my,
and I
my
wouldn't.
grandson wants to buy one for $200.
Oh, that's cheap. There's 300 some $400 on some of these bats.
Michael, I never saw new bats. What
Well,
was
I don't
in-
know where you
what
were.
was in that bag
Maybe
is
that
what
was
we
the time
used.
you took your trip. I don't know. I have no idea.
We bought you bats. Okay.
I remember going out there, the left field, and some guy came in with a station wagon, and they took out all these bats. And I always liked the LK line because it had a skinny handle on it. I
Right.
didn't, and you got more whiff to the ball.
You still could.
And the
never-
Jackie Robinson. Was like
Now Billy could hit
Jackie
that.
Robinson was like just one piece of wood. It was the barrel and the handle were the same size.
Nellie Fox, same thing.
Mm,
And Nellie Fox, right?
Yeah, Nellie Fox.
I got a baseball bat home. I think Louis Pellegrino gave it to me. He had connections up in Boston. He gave me a bat from Orlando Cepeda.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
I remember I had 30 on the bottom of the handle on the bat.
Oh,
But
30
it was heavy.
that was big in those days, man.
Oh, I got a
30
big
inch
guy.
No, it was number 30.
Oh,
He must have been number 30.
oh, you got the real thing then.
Yeah, it's one of his bats.
Was it better wood?
It's heavy. I know that.
Oh, he's a big guy.
I put lead in the end of it.
Love it.
Put holes in the end of it now.
Yeah.
Lighten them up.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to get to the big play of that game and the championship game was Bugby swings, hits it down the left field line. I field it. I throw it to George. George throws the first base. Bugby's out because he swung and tore his
Blew his knee off.
knee.
Ooh.
That turned that game.
Uh-oh.
That turned that game around.
Yeah,
We
that
could have
was
lost
it.
it. If Bugby didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
That might have turned that
Oh, I
game.
know.
That
He
was
went
the turning.
halfway
That
down
was the
first
turning point of the
baseline, it
game.
was-
Well, we won Wasn't that near the end of the game anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
No,
it
that
was,
was at the beginning.
I thought it was 2 innings further back. Do you know?
No.
Chief?
It's early in the game.
Early.
Oh,
Oh, it
it's
was.
early, second, third inning.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm hustling down that line to cut it off so it doesn't go by me, and then throw it to you. Ah, come on.
Turn the sound down.
Yeah, just let me give
Turn it off.
That
That's about
Bugby,
all I know to do.
Bugby was a hell of an athlete. That guy was good. He could. I remember him playing shortstop. I thought he was a great shortstop.
He was great at everything.
Yeah, he was a
Yeah,
good
he was
athlete.
all the way.
He had a
All the
beautiful
way.
swing. I said,
He didn't go anywhere though.
went to UConn.
Did he go to
UConn,
UConn?
Oh,
Cape
yeah.
Cod League, I think.
He did.
I believe so.
I think he did Cape Cod League too.
I thought he went to UConn.
No, he could hammer that.
No, he played with George. George, they
Yeah,
told
that's
me,
what I
yeah.
thought.
Yeah.
Nice kid. Nice boy.
Yeah.
George, yeah, they were about the same years, I think.
And he had some good athletes in Waterford. That
Yeah.
school had some good athletes.
Yeah, they
Well,
did.
the other guy who played second base for Waterford was Mike Pinella.
Mike
Yeah.
Pinella, yeah.
He later on coached basketball in London. He
Yeah.
was good, Pinella.
Yeah.
Well, their starting lineup, whoops,
Uh-oh, got it.
Good hands, Jim.
That's it.
Yeah.
guy named Neal played left field. Butler,
Oh, Butler.
he was a good, he caught, he was a
Yeah,
good ball
yeah,
player.
yeah, he was. Yeah,
Bugby, Pinella, a guy named Harold Winslow,
Yeah.
played shortstop.
yeah.
He's
Winslow.
Ani Holmes, San Juan played right field.
Was that
Bobby
Bobby?
or
Morgan,
San Juan. Yeah.
San Juan.
Was
Bobby?
that
I'm
Bobby?
not sure.
There was two
Yeah.
brothers there.
And then there was a guy named LeClaire played third base.
All right.
Yeah, they had a good team.
Did you have to play him during the regular season too?
Yeah, we played him during the
Three-
regular
They
season.
were
Twice,
the
right?
Conference.
Nice.
We won the conference.
And lost another one.
We beat them,
And
and
lost to
then
him.
we lost to them. George pitched that game 1-0, nothing against him. But he lost 1-0. You pitched a good game. And I remember Bugby wrapped it out there in that parking lot. Ran out there was a parking lot there back of the school. That was before they moved over across the street to the high school.
That was their only run, wasn't it?
Huh?
That was the run they got. That was it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was it.
How many teams were in that division?
Conference?
You can't, yeah.
There was Fitch was in the conference then. After my sophomore year, Fitch got out of it. We played them, but they weren't in the conference. Remember, they got too big.
Yeah.
Yep.
They were Fitch at that time. The year we won,
Yeah.
1960. All right, Stonington, Fitch, Waterford, Killinley,
Playing
Plainfield, maybe?
and in the Valley Regional.
Wow.
Yeah.
Valley Regional.
Played them a little bit.
Yeah, we played them twice. They were in it. They didn't have football then. It was just basketball and baseball.
But how about teams from the northern part of the state or the western part of the state?
Well, we didn't play
Nah.
them only in the tournament. We didn't play any of them. We went into Westwood Allen and played.
Midwestern.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Charahoe didn't come in the picture. Their first graduating class was 61.
right. So there was a lot of teams in it's class M, right? Is that what you?
They were all class M.
Probably 35 to 40.
Right. You only see up until 1950, Norwich and New London High School were in the conference.
Right.
And at one time, Wesley was in the Eastern Connecticut.
You're talking about Eastern Connecticut now.
The Eastern Connecticut, Western Rhode Island Conference. they
Okay.
called it,
Now,
back in the
okay.
30s. But then New London got too big. New London had two high schools, Chapman Tech and New London. Then in 51, they went to one high school. You talk to like Dookie Avery, I remember, and Mike Nagin and those guys used to say there was 600-700 kids in their class.
Yeah.
Because the kids from Waterford were coming there.
and East Line probably.
Mountville and
Yeah.
East Line didn't have a high school.
Yeah.
Those guys went to either London and up in the other end, Mountville and Legend all went to Norwich Free Academy.
So you guys had to overcome a lot of teams that had a lot of kids,
Yes.
right? It wasn't just
we
a.
didn't play in
I
London.
mean,
No.
you look at Stonington and Wesley now. I think Wesley's only got like 550 or 560 kids
That's about
in
right.
a school,
In Stonington, it used to be 10, 15 years ago.
And
there were 9
Stonington's
schools,
the
now there's
same.
Only 4.
right? Yeah, and Stonington's like about the same as. Where are the kids going? They going to not private
I think
school?
there's less
No,
kids.
it's socioeconomic. It's very difficult
Go ahead,
to
Jeff.
find a house for a family in Stonington. Yeah,
Did
it's
you-
basically my tennis team. Basically, I used to get some feeders, some Masons Island, Wana Wana Club, Lord's Point, but these locations are now summer locations. The kids there come in the summer, then they leave. It's unfortunate, but the prices of the properties in Stonington are so high that people who have money in the richer city areas are buying up a lot of these houses, and the result is no kids, no families.
Recently in the Providence Journal, there was an article about the top 10 towns in the state of Rhode Island. Where they're
Westerly.
coming from out of state and buying.
Westerly.
was ranked 5th.
Yeah,
From 140 houses
but they were like
sold
second.
outside
They won
into the
something
town,
else.
sold
Yeah,
outside the state in
right,
Westerly, there were $1 million or more.
right.
140. So
Yeah.
you know what it
Yeah,
was.
I think the economics did come into
Right.
it. Stonington, a great town. I mean, you can't get a nicer
Right.
town, well run. You got everything you want, but the houses are expensive.
When
That's the
we
same
were
way in
growing
Westerly
up,
now.
you could go a block and find, kids to play baseball, kids to play football. I mean, there used to be gangs on this side, that side. We used to go up to Chippy Field, and play football in the rocks. We used to go to Williams Beach, find enough kids to play baseball.
Not today.
Not today.
We used
No
to
kids.
we used to play sandlot football, no pads,
Right.
tackle.
Oh, yeah.
I remember Richie Steele got his tooth kicked out. Guys playing with shoes with the steel toe shoes.
Yeah.
He got kicked in the mouth, lost a tooth.
Yeah.
But we
That's
taught
what I tell
nothing,
the
tackle,
grandkids.
no
I used
pads.
to play football where the school is now.
Yeah.
Pocono Junior.
Yeah,
You know?
Right.
Yeah, but you could find kids.
Yeah. but
Everybody.
neighborhood was all neighborhood.
Look, they call it Pocket Little League changed to Stonington Little League.
Yeah.
Town of Stonington Little League now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know why they did that.
Yeah, but I mean, there's nobody playing.
Not as many,
You
but
know?
there's less
Is there
families.
still a Mystic Little League?
Yeah.
Is it-
But they were drawing. Remember, Mystic drew from Groton. I knew as many as the Fitch kids. You did too, as I did the Stonington kids. In
No.
fact, we didn't know Stonington kids really until the Babe Ruth League, or the Babe Ruth League, or whatever they called it down at Williams Beach.
All right, you get down to Williams Beach now, there used to be 2 fields down there. One's a parking lot, and the other one, I see tents set up in that now, so they're not playing baseball there
oh my
anymore.
God. Oh wow.
So,
Mystic White took over that, didn't he?
yeah.
That's excellent.
Everybody's playing pickleball.
You know what amazes me
Is-
nowadays?
Yeah, right.
All these schools, like any school, you go to Stonington, they have squash.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how they get teams.
Rowing.
All these different teams.
Rowing.
My grandson's on the crew team. He's a freshman.
And they're playing multiple sports now.
Well, you gotta remember, when we were in school, all of us here, it was 4 sports.
Right.
Now there's 19,
I don't know how they
you
get
know,
the kids to
and one
play.
of the
and be
biggest
good.
things is rowing.
Yeah, but that's
And they
always,
go
State
rowing.
title in rowing.
that's been around
You
a
know?
while.
My
Yeah, they've been-
grandson's a freshman.
you're
He
right.
just got a-
I remember reading about it.
That's a big
Yeah,
sport
that's
though.
what I-
Yeah,
But I'm
definitely.
I'm sure George Stonington must have the same problem. It's not a problem, but okay, so it's time. You're playing lacrosse. Oh, wait a minute, I got a softball game tonight. Coach, I'm gonna declare the softball. So you have to declare at the beginning of the year which sport is going to be your main sport.
Well, you can only play one, I think. I don't think.
No, in Rhode Island, Rhode Island you
can't
can play
double
two. In Rhode Island you can play two.
And we're lucky in Stonington.
Not it's not so many. That's the guys, it's the girls. That's how the Albamani girl just made All American. That's she Dave Federico said, come up and see how you can do with a javelin. Next thing you know, she threw it to 186 feet last week out in Oregon. Unbelievable. But anyway, let's get back to this team because you guys haven't talked about one of the most important guys, Moose Fabricant, that much. He's not going to come out and punish you guys now. So you can say anything you want about it.
His son, Mike.
Yeah. He might be listening.
He was built tough. He had a good arm on him for an older man.
Oh, well, he was a strong man.
We didn't
Well,
fl-
he's in the Hall of Fame of URI.
Yeah. Oh,
He's
no
in the
question
Hall of
about
Fame
it.
of URI.
My personal view, you said Mr. Fabricant, we never said Moose. And the only one I knew that ever called a Moose was Dick Chipperfield. And that was an incident that I saw as a freshman when Mr. Chipperfield came in late to a game.
Yeah. What was that all about?
Well, he somehow talked Charlie Wood into giving him a ride to the motor vehicle to get a license or something. And we're playing Fitch, and I'm a freshman, and we're playing at Williams Beach. And there's no Chipperfield, no Wood. All of a sudden, Charlie and Dick come in, and Moose, I never saw him so irritated, and he picked up his fungo and I think was going to go after Dick. It was a pretty important game.
Well, Chip could talk
And
somebody
then
into anything.
And then
He could talk anybody into it.
And then Mr. Chipperfield, I was shocked because he's going, Moose, 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 calm down. They finally left. We finished the game, but Chipperfield was back on the team. So,
Well, everybody called him Moose except in front of him.
He was good enough to get
oh
away.
yeah, yeah, we had
Our coach.
Yeah.
everybody had like any coach. We had Moose jokes, and
But, that's all beside the point.
yeah,
When it came to play, we came to play. We went out there to lose. So, and we had a good group of athletes, luckily. Everything just came together. And that's how things work anyway. So, and you got to be lucky. In baseball, especially, foot here, foot there, base hitter and out. So
It's
we
true.
had some good athletes. And we had a lot of fun.
You were the shortstop, right, Mike?
No, it's third base.
third base.
Oh, third base.
Jimmy was.
Jimmy
Oh,
was
Jimmy
the
was. That's
shortstop.
right. Jimmy was the shortstop.
You got to pay attention.
Well, he got
I
hurt.
know, but
He got hurt.
And then
he played some shortstop in the Twilight League,
What do
didn't
we got left?
What do you got left?
He didn't play from the outfield, didn't play shortstop.
he? No, Tucker was it?
I played.
Tucker.
Tucker, no, four.
One of the best.
Shortstop and outfield.
I was left field.
Left out.
Left out is right. Yeah.
I remember when you talk about Coach Fabricant, I can remember my junior year, Mike was a captain. Mike was sitting like in the first or second seat of the bus right outside the gymnasium. And it was a wet spring. And we're going to a baseball game. Moose gets on the bus. Coach Fabricant gets on the bus. Says to Mike, hey, Mike, where is this guy? Where's that guy? Where's that guy? Well, Mike says, they got their track meet canceled yesterday. And they're all going to the track meet. That was the end of the guys playing track and baseball at the same time. Your junior year was the last time it was a full letterman.
Wow.
That was the last time.
Cousin.
That ended. You remember?
Thibodeau, I think, won the state 800 or 880 at the time or something.
No, not this one.
No, that was Eddie Kearney.
He did something though.
Eddie Kearney.
Eddie
something.
Kearney.
Oh,
Eddie
maybe.
Kearney.
He
He could
could
run
run.
like a deer.
He could run.
Yeah, but Thibodeau did something in track
Yeah,
his sophomore year or something like that.
Really? I
don't
can
know.
see him doing weights. I can't see him in high jump.
Yeah, he used to high jump.
Really?
He'd high jump 6'6" at practice to go to the meet.
Whoa,
Couldn't jump 5'5".
5 feet.
that's pretty good.
Then when you go back there, you go back to Jimmy Bellado and Pete Arnold. Those guys are both in the Hall of Fame. When Stonington had a home game and had a track meet at the same time, they took part in both of them at the same time.
Right.
There's a
Right.
write-up about Jimmy Bellado, a
Yeah.
local boy that was busy today.
Yeah.
And he ran a 100-yard dash, and in between innings, he'd go out and play right field, got a base hit, and then he went back out, and he won. And Pete Arnold would pitch, and then he'd go throw the javelin in between.
Well, Dudley did that.
You
He used to take a baseball uniform off and go run a half. Dudley did.
Wheel?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's been written about a few times.
That's when we
Jimmy
played
was
at
good
home. Yeah.
Jimmy's a good athlete.
Well, Bellado?
Yeah.
I think he was a state champion in the 100-yard dash.
Wow.
Pete Arnold was all conference in all four sports, played football at Colgate.
He wasn't big, was he?
Yeah.
Oh,
They
my
were talking to the radio program over there. Him and Kurt Brown.
You could have. I mean, you could have wiped out half of URI. That.
Did you play with Wayne Lawrence?
Yeah.
They had some big guys on that.
Oh, yeah.
Much time ago.
He got the key jump
20
at 7
minutes.
seconds left. tapped that
Yeah.
ball. I told you that one, Sal. Pete got that jump ball with 7 seconds left under Staunton's basket, tapped it to Wayne. Wayne threw the ball in and ended East Haven's
Right.
79-game winning streak.
That's unbelievable, really.
Didn't they get their tires sliced on the bus or something? I seemed like I heard that story.
Oh, about the bus outside?
Yeah,
Yeah.
seemed like I heard
Is that right?
Well, they got late. They got late to the first game. They almost lost the first game by a forfeit.
Yeah.
They got lost.
Well, they had one
I used to watch all the games right there. The old
Yeah.
school.
I went to 2 of the tournament games. I went to the one from East Haven. My father took us.
Yeah, we used to listen to it on radio.
Went to everyone, the championship run.
But the first game of the season, they almost lost. They were playing They were playing Farmington in Deep River,
Right.
and it was a bad night. And they all went in separate cars. The starting 5 were with Mr. Foley in his car, and they got lost. And the gymnasium was packed. You know, they were up there. Stonington's
Yeah.
ranked second. You know, everybody knew, that Stonington was going to be playing East Haven. So they get into the gym, and 7:30, then the referee said, if Stonington's not on the floor at 8 o'clock, they're going to lose on a forfeit. Came to 10 minutes of 8, and Stonington walked in. And they
Ooh.
got on the floor, and they, put their stuff on and everything else. And at halftime, they were behind. Well, then they start throwing it to Wayne. And Wayne scored 42 points and got him out of the hole. But after that, they took the train to New Haven every year, every game.
Instead of
They almost lost.
that's a funny. That's a good story.
East Haven won 79-game winning streak. Had a 79-game winning streak. Wayne's sophomore year, junior year, they lost in the semifinals. They knew if they were going to win the state title, they had to go through East Haven.
Yeah.
And they beat East Haven.
What year was that, guys?
56.
Is that the year that they were Stonington and somehow Stonington and Wesley could have both gone, but Stonington was not.
Stonington won 45-0 that year at the 56 or 55.
No.
So what happened?
Yeah, tell that story.
What happened was when they had the New England High School tournament, Wesley won the state title here.
Right.
Everything. Stonington won in Class
That's
B.
how you talk about football.
When they had the New England tournament in Boston, New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont, and Rhode Island only could send one school. Massachusetts was a big state. The 2 teams that played in the finals in Massachusetts went. 2 teams in Class A in Connecticut went. Stonington didn't get in it.
Oh
That's
man.
when Hill House and
I think
those
that's
teams from
that
New
year.
and that's when Stonington didn't get in it.
And Stonington could have had a shot to beat the Fall River team. What the heck's the name of it? They beat Westerly that year, and it was
Wesley lost in the finals.
right. What the heck's the name? Durfee, and the saying was that if Stonington maybe had gotten it, had played in a tournament, they probably would have won the New England championship. That would have been unbelievable, and they probably would have ended up playing Westerly.
During the
Because
regular
Wesley guys got
season-
sick. If you remember, they all got sick.
during the regular season, Stonington won at home and lost to Wesley away. Over to West, Stonington lost to West in Westerly.
Yep.
They split.
Well, it's hard to win in
But
Westerly.
Fabric went out and got a good schedule. I mean, he went out and he played. I'm trying to think of prep schools. Played a team in London. He played, and they used to have to go and practice at Westerly because they had the glass backboards. So we had the half moons. Remember?
I remember that.
Half moons.
Still there.
Yeah. And they also played in London. In London, they practiced to get used to playing, on a glass backboard.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
I do remember those
baskets are still there. Those old
geez.
baskets.
They
Half moons.
They were there for years.
Switching back to baseball, Stonington this year had one of the better teams I think they've had in a long time. They had this kid that could throw the ball about 90 miles an hour. That's his name.
Jimmy was saying they have a couple of good pitchers.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, the pitcher. And they had more than one pitcher. In today's day, you got to have more than one pitcher because they have pitch counts. Like you said, guy pitched, Frank pitched three games in 1 week. You can't do that. No.
Well, I limit the innings, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got to the semifinals of the Raps. Looking at the box score, they were up 4-1, but they lost 5-4 or something like that in the semifinals. So it was a very good team.
Yeah, they scored 4 runs in the second, and that was it.
Yeah.
After that. But he's going, I think at colleges are looking at him already.
I think he's.
I'm
I
not
think he's
sure.
going. No, I think he's
only
going.
a junior, though.
He's going to the school in George Mason. I think it's George Mason.
He's a junior, going to be a senior.
Oh, he's not. He's
I
only a
think he's only
junior.
a junior, I think.
Wow. And
Well,
that's
George would know better than I would.
they had some. They had somebody behind them at Wesley. They had somebody behind the backstop with a gun the whole game. I don't know if she was doing it on his behalf or on the Wesley pitcher's behalf.
Scout, maybe.
Yeah, they do that. There's a lot. There's a lot of good pitchers in the area. Kid from Charo, he's going to URI. Kid from Wesley was already going to Maine, and kid from I said Charo. Yeah, Charo was going to URI, and yeah, they're getting a kid from Stonington. That's what we heard, and that's what Ron Spizzato told us that he was going to George Mason. No, he's only a junior. Stonington kid.
That's, I thought somebody's told me that. I'm not.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I talked
That's
to the
pretty-
coach. I see him in the locker room on the way to the coaching tent.
Bob Cahoon.
Yeah, good guy. Just said, come on, let's win the state championship.
Sam, do you want to tell a story about Moose and that basketball, that trip we took?
What does he say?
He wants you to tell a story about Moose and the basketball
At a
trip
halftime?
halftime.
Oh, come in the locker room after me.
Yeah.
He asked me, what am I doing out there? I said, I'm playing basketball. He said, no, you're not.
Picked Sam right out. He's a strong man. When you
Yeah.
asked that Glenn. He
Pick him
picked
right
Sam. Sam was a big kid. He picked Sam out. He banged him on that lob. Boom.
No kidding.
Boom.
I didn't think he was
And
like
summer
that.
Before that,
Well, not very often.
I was playing. I was swimming up at Pine Point Bridge, up there where there used to be the golf course there, Stonington Manor.
Yeah.
And Coach Fabric was playing golf with his wife. So I was swimming in there. We used to always go over there by the 8 hole and throw golf balls up, but they didn't
Oh,
cross there.
jeez.
So he says,
Oh, my
"Hey,
God.
you want to go on a trip?" And he was up there. He used to go to Bill Shyman's basketball camp up in Casco, Maine. He says, "You want to go with me and Andy up there?" So I went with him up on a trip up there, and they were building at that time. They were just putting. This is back 1960, 61. They were just putting 95 through Providence, so you had to go all over the place there, So I never forget. We stopped for gas. And the guy come out and the Moose says, "Boy, this area has changed a lot." To the guy, Guy said, "You from up here?" He says, "Yeah." He says, "What's your name?" Fabricant. The guy took his hat off and shook his hand. He's one of the greatest athletes to come out of Pawtucket. Never forgot that.
Unbelievable.
Remember the guy that was a professional umpire from Pawtucket?
Yeah. Hank Saw.
Hank Saw. He was a classmate of the Moose's
Oh, yeah.
at Pawtucket.
Suck it. Yeah.
Well, Moose was a great athlete.
Oh,
How many sports did he play? Do you know?
Probably 4. Played everything.
Yeah. He when he first came to Stony, he coached football with Mike Cronin
Right.
for 2 or 3 years, and then he coached baseball and basketball.
And you had Woody Duville.
With
Yeah.
Duval. Yeah, when Cronin left, Duval came in.
You're not Colin.
Yeah. I call him
Great.
Pete Young.
Pete Young and
He was a mild mannered one of them.
Oh, he's a great guy.
Joe
Yeah.
Stigney.
Pete
Yeah.
That's
Young,
right. Yeah.
Pete
Yeah,
Young,
that's a-
your senior year, my junior year, Pete came.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
AIC.
No, he's no longer with us
ACI.
either.
Huh?
Played at AIC or ACI.
Yeah,
Right,
he-
Massachusetts.
AIC.
International.
Yeah. He played up in Springfield anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was an end, I think.
Yeah, see, they went to him and Woody Duval went to the same high school there in Woodbridge or up there in Massachusetts, Stockbridge or something.
Yeah.
And the guy that was their high school coach was a graduate of Snow Wesley High School, was Leo Smith.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Leo.
Leo was Leo coach. Graduated from
Well, he's in the Wesley Hall of
he's in
Fame
Wesley
too.
Hall of Fame, right? He's in the Hall of Fame up
He
there.
coached at Westerly.
And they went
Did
to
well. Then
Stony-
he went to Stonington. Then he went back up to Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And he was.
He's in that Hall
that's
of
how they
Fame.
made the connection. How Duval got connected here, and that's how
Oh,
they got connected.
was Duval a baseball coach?
No, he ran that school league. That's when we used to remember
Yeah, the grammar school.
grammar school, basketball and baseball. It used to be, there was West Broad.
Yeah, we used to play in the 7th and 8th
Yeah,
grade.
we had the school.
Oh man,
Played on Mr. Duval's teams.
it's great to have
We
you
played
guys all
down on the end
together.
of William Street. That was the
Yeah,
home
Burdick Lane.
Burdick Lane down there.
Yeah.
Burdick Lane
Uh,
there.
Love this
Down the line was
reminiscing,
about
man.
50 feet.
Yeah.
Woods.
Wasn't much of a field.
Dan, how much time we got left? You got any limits here? Or?
No, you guys keep going.
All right, we'll keep going. Let's go.
What are we doing today?
Just tell,
But he ran that-
just tell your wife you got to. Yeah, the radio show ran a little bit longer than you thought. We have a lot of fun here. This is a great. I've been doing it now for 24 years, so it's hard to catch me off guard, but never.
Still miss your
never.
buddy.
Oh, Lou is the best.
Okay.
Oh, Mizuch?
Yeah.
Kenny.
Oh, Kenny's here.
What?
Kenny Collins.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where is he? Toscano's today?
Yeah, I think
They're at
so.
Toscano's bench shop.
today.
Yeah, they over at Paulie's Toscano's. They have a bundle of laughs over there with
Oh, I
Paulie.
like it. Yeah. The old man
It's
still
been
there?
a long time, hasn't it?
Huh?
The old man still there?
No, but Paulie Gincarella.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's and
But his kid took the business over, didn't he?
no. Paulie's the only one over there.
Oh.
Yeah. So, Paulie has a son who is in he's in a couple of different occupations, but I'm not sure which ones are. But Paulie's he's the man. Come on, that's yeah. So talk some more about. Let's go over again who all these guys were.
Robert Senior. I don't know.
Otto.
Otto. I think he's still probably in Florida. He was up for this picture when our group was inducted into the Hall of Fame as a team. He was a solid second baseman. He was the leadoff hitter.
What was his name again for the people out there?
His real name is Bob Senior.
Bob
In our
Senior.
day, we had nicknames for everybody.
Oh yeah, that's the same thing. We had one in our class.
So his nickname was Otto, and as I said in that game, the semifinals he lit off with a home run, and that set the pace for that one. Solid player, basketball player too, and last we know of him, he was down in Florida.
But he was up for that.
He came up for this.
White suit and all.
Huh?
White suit and all.
Yeah.
I batted second. Mike, did you bat third?
Yeah.
Fourth must have been Thibodeau.
I asked Sam. He's got the memory. I don't.
He's got it all written down.
Well, he asked him. He's got the memory. I don't.
Sam's got it all.
Wait, what do you want to know? What?
Who batted
Yeah,
what?
and they can actually they can when you put that up there,
Thibodeau was
they can
clean,
actually
right?
see those pictures.
Who batted
People
fifth?
that are watching can see those pictures.
You,
I think I was.
George, six.
I don't know.
Oh, I can't remember.
You want to know what I want to? You want to know about these guys?
Yeah, let's go.
Well, Jimmy Higginbottom's sitting right there. Bob Thibodeau. Bob passed away about a year ago.
Right.
About the same time Charlie Holdridge and him. About the same time, about a year, about
Yep.
a little over a year ago.
Charlie,
I was senior
did Charlie
in
play in that
Florida.
team?
Huh?
Charlie play in that team?
No,
No,
Charlie.
he's a Wesley guy.
Charlie got.
Yeah, Wesley
Well,
guy.
Charlie's back in the 50s.
I
Yeah, I
remember
think he got out of high school in 50.
He wants-
55.
Yeah,
George Krause, right here. Dave Burchell passed away.
what position did he play?
Clint Holland, I don't know where Clint is. Last
I
time
thought
he
he
was up in
passed away.
Massachusetts.
I
He
don't
might have
know.
passed away. I'm not sure. All right. That's Dave Erskine here. George Rathbun there. Joe Wysick passed away about a month ago.
Nice guy.
Frank Practiak passed away about a year ago.
Another nice guy. Great
Mike
guy.
Crowley's right there. And
Great
Johnny
guy.
Safamilla was a freshman, but he played later in his sophomore, junior, senior year.
He was a good ball player, wasn't he?
Played good
He played for
baseball.
Vagabonds?
Oh.
For Safford Miller. Or was that another
Saf-
brother or
Saf-
cousin? Or,
Saf and I played together on a slow
But
pitch
Donnie,
softball.
Donnie grew up in Mystic and he's living over in Groton now.
Yes.
Down in Knowing.
Donnie, who's his last name?
Saf and Miller.
Saffamillo. Okay.
He lives in Knowing.
I think he was captain his senior year.
I'm getting him confused. Maybe did he work at Electric Boat?
Who?
Saffamillo?
I don't believe so.
Yeah,
I think he did. I
Yes.
think he
Did-
did
I
because
don't
I
remember.
remember the name
Yeah.
being bandied about.
Yeah.
His father was head of the union over there or something.
Yeah, he was.
So
He,
he
Maybe
he
that's
was in
it.
the MDA. You're right. Yeah, he probably did.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sam, who played first base?
I did.
You did. Second base was Otto.
Otto.
Who played short?
Shortstop with Jimmy, and then Jimmy
He
broke his
got hurt.
ankle going and thank Amos
After I got
Wesley
hurt.
game over at Stony.
George ended up.
And George came in from center field.
Okay, and I played third.
Third, you were playing third base,
Left field.
left field.
George played left.
Andy Fabric for the state tournament.
No, just
Just
regular.
He played most of the time center field, but then he came in and played shortstop when Jimmy broke his ankle.
Yeah.
Then Andy Fabric played.
Andy played center.
Then a lot of times Thibodeau and Bracknag rotated out there in right field.
Oh, Frank played out there.
I used to catch once in a while. I think Dickie Williams played first base. They used to.
Didn't Billy play?
Because he used to move us around.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I
He wasn't
thought
there. Yeah.
No, nothing.
Maybe it wasn't that year.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I was asking.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
Who's that?
No, he didn't.
Where was Billy?
Who?
Where did Billy, your brother
Bro.
Billy, play?
He
Was
was,
he with us?
he was
Played
his
right out in
son.
the outfield.
Oh, Billy's an outfield. But he
Yeah, I
didn't
knew
play.
that.
He didn't play that year though.
No.
That was like the greatest arm I ever saw on Billy. He could throw a ball.
Oh my God!
They say him and somebody was talking. I think Larry.
Oh, the guy.
Taylor.
Oh, the guy from the Red Sox,
Yeah, they said the two best arms were Billy and Dwight Evans.
Dwight Evans. That,
No, what's true now? He could throw.
He right on the line. That ball comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Center field or home plate.
The scout then was Len Zanke.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Len Zanke
Did
was
you-
the scout.
Did anybody on your team get scouted by him? Or
He took care of the Wesley boys.
he took care of no. He signed Billy.
Mike was working.
He
He
signed
signed
Billy.
I was a courier over there when we first got out of high school. Remember, we used to have we used to call it the Mets dugout. Bob West. Remember Bob West? Bob West, and Zanke, and all those guys in there. Mike and I were in there. One more time, the boss would say, "Get out of here." We used to be
I
a
always,
lot of good times over there.
I was always surprised with the power Bob Thibodeau had. He didn't get
The what?
at least a shot. Thibodeau.
Oh, well, his father, when that kid Bob was young, he always thought he'd get signed by the Red Sox, and he didn't want him playing football because of that. Because he figured he would get in. And Bob was a big guy, and he could throw. He could hit.
But he
Yeah, he could hit too.
I don't know why they didn't. I don't know. Really
I don't think he ever had a shot, did he?
Not that I know of. I was.
They never even gave him a shot. Who did he play for in the Twilight
Yeah,
League?
but back then there was not an awful lot of scouting back then in this area.
Maybe.
Zanke was it.
Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
guy from the Red Sox who scouted Billy. Joe Dukin, I think his name was.
Yeah, see, I only knew Zanke. Zanke was the only one I knew around.
Yeah.
Well, I remember him coming down.
Hmm.
And then those Philly scouts were around the Twilight League. You could remember Kennedy.
Ronnie?
Right,
Yeah.
played third base.
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
while.
Bradford. Played for Bradford, right?
Big guy. Nice
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, any controversies in that team that you guys
Nobody ever fought.
No.
I don't think,
try to gotta get you on something here? Come on.
I don't think so.
Everybody.
No,
everybody
actually,
got
the
along.
team got to the semifinals my junior year, the year before, and I felt we were very close. If Bob hadn't hit 400 foot out, we might have been in the finals the year before.
No, I would say we were very. I never heard an argument. Tell you the truth.
Yeah.
No.
That's good because baseball can grind you, because it's played in a cold weather.
Well, any sport, you gotta have, life. You gotta work together.
The coach is a very big part of in high school, especially. Well, it isn't the major leagues too. In high school, I can remember the coach saying things or looking at you the wrong way.
Well, that's Wesley. That ain't strength.
But it was a one particular coach, and I'm not going to mention him. He's not around. He's not on this earth anymore either. So,
Well,
but,
everybody on this team knew baseball. We've been playing
Well,
baseball.
that was my point when we first started.
We've been,
Yeah.
if you want to look at it, we probably ate baseball growing up, drank baseball growing up.
yeah,
My father out there throwing balls to me when I was 5, 6 years old, probably the same with you guys. You were you knew what to do, basically,
Yeah.
and you still know today when you're watching. Why did this?
Well,
Why
people
did-
don't like baseball,
Yeah.
but you've got to anticipate the pitches,
Yeah.
the 3-1 counts, and then that's how you. If you're just going to sit there and watch a guy swing a bat, you're not going to appreciate
Like
baseball.
They don't do that today.
Oh,
Half of
I
them don't
mean-
know what the count is when they're batting.
Well,
When we
Or
were
how many
kids,
outs are up.
we used to
Wow.
have pickup teams.
every
Guy
day.
would
Wow.
pick a team, the other guy would pick a
Yeah.
guy. They used to split us up and we'd go out and play baseball.
Yeah, scrub.
I think of some of the
Oh.
little league coaches we had. They were all gentlemen.
Yeah.
I know I had,
Yeah.
Dick Neff and Lefty
Yeah.
Moore and those guys.
Yeah, I had Mr. Drury.
Ray McGee's father.
Yeah.
All those guys
Ed
were all
Cooley.
gentlemen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It wasn't that, some
Oh,
of the
no.
greatest arguments ever took place is up there parking the Little League field.
how about Mike? Did he ever lose his temper? Mike?
No,
I struck out.
I
don't think you ever
refereed.
hit
I
him.
refereed basketball when he coached in junior high basketball. I used to referee, but Mike had no. He didn't give me a hard time.
Who's that?
But when he was
Mike.
coaching junior high basketball,
Mike?
yeah.
I got a story for you guys. In the football team, we're in the locker room. We just got out of the shower, and Dudley Wheeler and Inglesby decided they're going to throw me outside bare ass. So they threw me out and locked the door. So I had to go over to the coach's room and knock on the door to get back in. I'm bare ass outside.
That's a good group of guys.
That was two characters, Dudley Wheeler and Inglesby.
Yeah. Now Inglesby was a center on a football team,
Yeah.
right?
He was.
Good center.
Yeah.
He's a strong guy.
He was a tough kid. though.
And I remember.
Yeah.
What if Fred went to Florida and then nobody ever heard from him?
I think Inglesby went to Florida, and I wouldn't know him if I saw him.
I know, I
Now. It's
wouldn't
been so long.
And like Jack Gavitt and those guys used to bump into him once in a while. I used to see him.
Yeah.
But after that, I don't know. I don't know if he's
No,
still
I don't
alive
know.
or not.
I don't know.
Yeah. Right, we're
Yeah, I think.
well, let's go around one more time, so we'll give
Fine.
each give you another shot. Go ahead, Mike. You're the chief. Tell us some of the best memories you had of that team.
Well, it was a good group. I mean, and we won a lot, but we won a lot because we had great pitching and great defense. I don't know if we were great hitters, but we all got along, and that's the key. And you got to be lucky.
That's true. I
You know,
agree.
that
With
last
that.
game, that last game that Bugby got hurt, we might not have been state champions. So I never forgot that.
No,
But when that ball went down that left field line, I'm saying to myself,
Uh-oh.
at least a double, maybe a triple. That's
Yeah, if it
yeah,
gets-
and I
That's
turned
why
around.
Kraus, as usual.
Well, you got to wake Kraus up.
So that was one, and he was playing right field. George. Okay. George is playing right field. The ball hit down the right field
Oh, it was
line,
a shot. Oh,
Left field.
left field,
left field. That was a shot.
and you caught it. But
I caught up to it, man. I was screaming at myself, "Get the ball! Get the ball!" I got
But
it.
again, that is one we were lucky with.
great
We wouldn't
memory.
have been state champions. But it's a game of chance, you know. So that's all I got to say.
Oh, it's all right, Jimmy.
Oh, I just had a great bunch of guys who played together. If somebody made a mistake, nobody got mad at them. They just continued in the game. So, and that's what you got to do.
Yeah, yeah. All you guys are all pretty level-headed and good athletes. And I can tell you, I enjoyed playing with you in the Twilight League, playing with you, against you, for you. And George Rathman over there, my man.
Yeah, I think we were lucky. We had two real good pitchers on that team, Bacniak and Thibodeau. They're both left-handers, and without those two guys, we would never been state champions. I'm sure.
No, you got to have pitching.
How about you, Doc?
No, we're all in. But one thing we did, we all grew up playing baseball and playing sports, and it was a great time. A great time at that time. Great the growing up, and we all remained friends, and that's why we're all here today. And it was my biggest experience winning that state championship over in London. But I'll tell you what, that Bugby could hit. He could hit. He was the MVP of the Cape Cod League there. He could hit.
Wow.
And, I mean, he was a sophomore when Jimmy and I were sophomores. We played against him at home for 3 years. And they were tough.
You had 3
Played
years.
basketball against them also, you know.
Wow.
And but they were good times, you know.
We had
And,
fun.
we grew up at the right time.
Yeah. And how about you, Mr. Kraus? The tennis man.
The tennis man. I think all of us who are here have made some contribution to the town of Stonington. We never, a lot of these gentlemen in this picture left the town. If you think about it, we're still here. We never went very far. But personally, I always love being in Stonington. I don't know about my fellow players here, but the brown and white to me it's always special.
Once a bear, always a bear.
Yeah, that's right. And we would just, they let me talk at this particular thing, and I coined what I thought was pretty good. We were the boys of spring, and now we're in the winter part. So when Dickie Williams hit the ball into the left field stands on one bounce and we won the game, it was probably the biggest thing that ever happened to us. I'm not sure, but there's nothing you can say when you walk out of a place a state champion. I've been kind of fortunate with girls tennis. I've been there, and it's quite an accomplishment. It does not happen. As 60 years later, roughly 65 years.
Whoa.
Later, it hasn't happened again, and I'm very sad that it hasn't. We did what we did. We were remembered for what we did, and we all have lived our lives with the beautiful picture of basically winning a state championship, and that's something not many people can say. If you think about
baseball.
Yeah. Well, George, tell you really did a great emotional job of explaining what you guys are like, and I hope everyone out there can appreciate. I know that I can just sitting here and listen, call him Mr. Crouch because that's what his tennis plays from. But to you, he's just George, and then and on behalf of Mike and Jim and George and Dave and another George here, we want to say thank you for coming in, and thank you for giving us great memories to think about and to aspire to. The kids may not be listening right now, but maybe their parents are, some of them, and whatever. But this is what you should really be aspiring to great competitors. And now it's boys and girls, so you got to teach them both. So I just want to say thank you, and on behalf of
Thank you.
Media 321,
that.
thank you very much. You guys did a great job, and we're gonna turn it over to Dan and Trery, and thank you, Dan. You did a good job up here,
Thank
getting
you
us
guys.
getting us on the air.
You
Appreciate
guys
it
did
very
an
much.
amazing job. It was very nice to hear your guys' stories from, so far back in the day. And yeah, like he said, you guys did a great emotional job of, talking about it and, just everything that was going on. And, as someone who didn't grow up with you guys and listening to the stories, it's definitely a nice perspective for sure.
Thank you, Dan. All
Appreciate
right.
it.
Thank us for having us on.
Yeah, thank you, and
course.
thank you to. I want to say thank you to the men and women in uniform. They're our real heroes, and thank you to
That's for sure.
thank you to all our loyal listeners. We couldn't do it without you. Take it away.
Thank you for inviting us.
No
Thank you.
problem. Great.